Though the idea of mail-order patterns may seem unusual to us today, in the beginning of the pattern industry, this is how patterns were distributed. Patterns were available by tracing them from magazines or ordering the patterns by mail. Mail-order patterns made from tissue paper were available from the 1870s, though few of the early ones survive. Mail-order patterns were available through the 1970s. That's 100 years. My collection of mail-order patterns starts with the 1920s. I have quite a few, so let's take a look. Let's start with this mail-order pattern from Capper Publications from the 1920s. It's a great drop-waist dress with a wide band and front flounce that can be made in lace. The mailing envelope features a blurb on how the pattern was created. Here's another 1920s pattern from Cut Easy. These patterns were issued by Ladies' Home Journal and were the first patterns with multiple sizes in one package. This drop-waist dress with a pleated skirt has a button front panel and pocket detail. Excel patterns were issued in the 1920s and 1930s until the company was bought by Simplicity in 1935. This dress with an asymmetrical front panel is one of my favorites. There's a lot going on here. The top has a button closure and there's a stitched down pleat in the front of the skirt. This sweet drop waist dress with a lace trimmed collar and cuffs from the late 1920s does not have a brand name associated with it and was probably advertised as a house brand by a local newspaper. Reader Mail was a company started in 1927 to produce patterns for newspapers and magazines. Ann Adams was one of the better-known brands, and I have quite a few. This ensemble from the late 1920s has a loose jacket over a dress with a shaped waist and skirt insets. Here's a lingerie pattern from the 1940s that was purchased from the Arkansas Gazette. Here are two patterns from the late 1940s. One features a button-up bodice and dramatic sleeve cuffs, while the other has draped flutter sleeves and a sweet bow. Here's another dress from the 1950s with darts that create a great button closure and dramatic pockets. And finally, a slim coat from the 1970s with princess seams and a shawl collar. Another popular brand published by Reader Mail was Marion Martin. Often the same patterns were issued under Ann Adams or Marion Martin with different numbers. This playsuit from the 1940s has nifty capelet sleeves and fastens in the back. This nightgown pattern from 1955 features a baby doll and long gown option. This dress with a gathered bodice from 1954 also has a shaped bolero jacket with cuffs. These two new style patterns from 1948 were purchased from the Kansas City Star. I was lucky enough to get the original newspaper advertisement with the pattern. The first dress has a loose jacket worn over a dress with flutter sleeves and a bow, while the second one has cap sleeves, a shaped yoke, and large embellished pockets. So Right is another mail-order brand. These two house dresses from the 1950s both have a button front bodice. 8269 is accented by a shaped skirt, cuffs, and collar, while 8939 has a contrast yoke and pockets. Many of my mail-order patterns do not contain any information about where they came from, but they still offer some great styles. This simple dress from the 1940s has a sheared front, yoke, and shaped neckline. This super cute 1940s ensemble consists of a jumper and matching jacket. And this sundress from the late 1940s has scalloped straps that meet in the back. These two 1950s dresses both have a button detail on the collar, but they couldn't be more different. And here are some 1950s aprons. The first is a full apron with rickrack trim and large pockets, while the second pattern offers 3 half aprons with high waists. And finally, here are a couple of really cute 1960s dresses. The first has side panels and a button closure at the neck, while the other has bow accents at the neck and skirt. Let's finish with Spadea patterns. These patterns were sold via mail order in the 1950s, 60s, and 70s. They were marketed as exact duplicates of original models designed by top fashion creators. Because of this, the patterns used ready-to-wear sizing, which was different from conventional sewing pattern sizing. Spadea NS 311 and N1209 from 1964 are both fun dress patterns with an interesting back detail. Spadea 62289 is a mini dress from 1969 with a high waist and full sleeves. Spadea 70270 is a strappy A-line dress that can be made long or short. And 71116 from 1976 is a cute jumpsuit with raglan sleeves and bow closures. I hope you enjoyed this look into mail order patterns. I think it's a great look into how many people got their patterns and were able to create their own custom garments throughout the years. These patterns are easy to find and worth exploring. Next time, I want to take a look at some of my 1970s patterns. It's a really fun decade. I started sewing in the 70s and have some great looks. I put out videos on Tuesdays, so make sure to subscribe to be notified when the next post comes out. Let me know if you have questions about working with vintage patterns below, and be sure to like if you found this helpful. Thank you.